Welcome to Selling Seven Figures Top Performers Tell All, hosted by Kevin Mullaney. Each month, we're diving deep to uncover the secrets of selling big, closing smart, and hitting your highest goals. One guest, one mission. Let's make more money. Ready? Let's go. Let's go.
Welcome to Selling Seven Figures. I'm Kevin Mullaney, your host of Top Performers Tell All. It is August, and as the great New York City rapper Jadakiss says, we outside today. I've got some construction going inside, so hopefully that doesn't ruin our podcast because we're excited to keep up with the New York City theme. We've got, don't be fooled by the rocks that I've got. She's still Terri from the block, Terri Harland from Facilis Group, Richmond's finest in the house, and we are not going to fool around with pleasantries because we have got an action pack. This is one that I'm so excited about. We've talked about salespeople, we've talked about sales leaders, but now we've got a professional sales trainer that's hopefully going to give us a lot of insight into her world, and hopefully we're going to do some learning today. So Terri, we're going to skip the pleasantries. We're going to go right into it. How did you jump into this industry? When did you jump into this industry, if we were okay asking that question?
Absolutely. I fear that it will date myself a little bit, but so I'll call it a happy accident that I fell into a corner of Craigslist where a $27 billion industry existed. And so I'd love to.
I didn't know this, actually. I did not know this. This is interesting. So you're looking for like a vacuum, maybe a prom date, and then also you just got a job at the same time?
All the things are true. All the things are true, Kevin.
I love it. All right. If you weren't doing this, if you didn't jump into this industry that I do know that you love and adore and you're perfect fit for, no rhyming intended, what would you be doing? What is another career that entices you, excites you, or just think that'd be a lot of fun to be a part of?
I will be so honest with you, Kevin. I don't think that there's anything else that I could do. In fact, I will share, right? I tried. I left for a good old fashioned 92 days and came running back. Please take me back. And so 20 years in, I'm a lifer. I don't know any other world. And to be honest, I don't think I want to.
Well, I love that you said that. And I was just thinking, because we're going to talk about how you are a professional best friend based on the glasses, based on the feng shui of your background. I think therapist would be good. I think you'd be a fantastic therapist, but like a hype therapist, like, hey, I'm not really going to break things down for you. You can break down on my couch and then I'm going to build you back up, but I'm not going to get into the whole psychology of what is actually going through your body right now. Sorry, that got weird real quick, and we're not going to leave that. We're not going to leave that. Okay.
I like it. Talk about what I do.
Tell us, okay, real quick, we'll start with the brief introduction of exactly what you do, just to kind of let the audience know that this is your profession. And then I think the next thing I would like to say is, with that, what exactly are you teaching? What are you talking about in the role that you have?
Okay. So formally, I'm the Director of Professional Development at Facilis Group. And really, that's just the long-winded way to say I'm the facilitator of our professional development courses at Facilis Group. And so typically what I'm doing every day is, well, it's tough because on one hand, one of my courses serves brand new industry talent, which I get so excited about being a 20-year veteran in this space. It's really fun to see an avenue or a lane, if you will, for real, true talent to find our industry without Craigslist and a weird happy accident happening or a legacy birthright. And then the other is...
Real quick on that, what are you seeing on that? What, like, how young do they have to be in the role to get involved with your program? And then just curious if this is something that we're legally allowed to talk about. What type of age differences are you seeing? Are you seeing a bunch of seasoned professionals? Are you seeing a bunch of rookies straight out of school? What are you getting in that Saved by the Bell, the new class?
I'm so glad that you asked me that question because I think it is one of the stereotypes of what the course is that I'd love to just blast out. Literally the age range in the courses that I'm running are out of college, straight out of college, never having had a career or a job before, all the way to second, third, fourth career transition into an industry where they're excited again. And so there's really no rhyme or reason. And in each of the classes, so much learning happens from the younger generation learning from the older generation, and the like melody that they're able to put together is pretty cool to see. So thank you for asking that.
That would be so much fun. Like if I'm thinking both ways, right? Me at 42 years old, and then again, same thing. I'm jumping into a new industry. You and I have both done it. It's very, very difficult. It's very, very, very humbling, right? And then also, but like to be able to learn from this 22-year-old that's bright-eyed, super excited about the role, and here I am, old man River, coming in with my old suitcase and my box of donuts and my traditional ways of doing things, and then having, Samantha straight out of school just telling me, hey, bud, that's not how I would like to be sold to. And a lot of times that average demographic of what the branded merchandise is selling to is more the Samanthas and less of the Kevins, if that's fair. So that's got to be so much fun to kind of bring those groups together. Second group that you're working with, is that sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to give you an example, and it really is just this simple. In one of my last courses, there was an older gentleman who's been in a different industry for a long time, and he was sitting beside someone who was straight out of college. And at the beginning of our sessions and what we were talking about, AI was a topic. And you could see he had already glazed over. He's like, I don't want to know anymore. I'm not going to get into this. I've already passed it, sort of thing. And the person beside him of the younger generation, who literally lives and breathes AI and all of the efficiencies that it can bring to you, he watched her do these things. And by the time we left the session, he was no longer afraid of it and absolutely leaning in for the first time ever, realizing what it could do. And it was like, those are the types of things that me standing up there teaching or hearing it from anybody else just can't happen unless those two worlds collide. It's so cool.
That's a fantastic story and a great example of specifically one of the challenges that people just, again, unless you're thrown into it, you can still get by without AI. Again, these rhymes, I don't know where they're coming from, and I wish they would stop. They're just coming naturally. But like, I know for a fact you can have success without AI, but right? It's like, if you can add another gear, if you can add another weapon to your tool belt, like, we're just silly to not embrace it. Okay.
I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but I think it's really important because the light bulb went off for this particular person when he realized that he could stop using it as a crux to make things easier. Because I think that generation sort of has a little bit of a, they have to work their way through that mindset. But when he realized that he could leverage it to ultimately earn himself time back to be more of a human, it was like, oh, okay, I'll give that a go.
I love that. And that's I actually love just the way you said that. Give you more time back to be a human. So whatever you want to do. Do you want to work more? Do you want to be with your family more? Do you want to sit down and look at the clouds more? Whatever you want to do, you can do it if you involve these new things. And it's probably a lot of what you're teaching in general, right? It's like, it's not necessarily rocket science. It's a different way of looking at things. I'm going to hold off for a second. I've got some loud abuse in my background, and I'm really struggling. So let me pause, see if that's going to throw us off, and change location. All right, we're back. We're at location 2. A little bit of a distraction here at my house today. So huge props to Terri for being supportive here. All right, we were talking about the second training that you lead. So let's go ahead and jump into that.
That one is the one that honestly is the most humbling for me because early in my career in sales, I got to be a part of it. It is ultimately something that I got to inherit coming into this role. And so now getting to lead it is a wild, bittersweet, sort of crazy ride to be on. But the reality is that every day I get to work with established salespeople in our industry who have gotten to a point in their sales game where they're sort of stuck for one reason or another. Maybe it's bandwidth, maybe it's tough clients, maybe it's just transition in their business. And they want the skills to scale whatever that book looks like to the next level. And so a lot of times it feels like just helping people find their spark again, and in a way that they can use it sometimes in a different way than they have before, but all with the answers to the tests that I learned 15 years ago when I got to do it. So it's my favorite part of what I get to do.
So interesting. And then in between then you're building the modules, you're building the content because it's obviously ever changing, right? I mean, we used to joke around how stale this industry was. And it seems like these past 2, 3, 4 years, there's more people making splashes, making changes and improving the process. So I don't think it's necessarily still a trite and outdated industry. Is that fair to say?
I definitely don't. And I think a lot of that has to do with the talent that has come into our industry in the last decade. And even I'll go back as far as COVID. For some reason, I think tremendous talent found our industry during that time for one reason or another. And it really has shifted not only the way that people think in our space, but also forced almost every business to operate a little bit differently, which is really cool to see.
Spot on. So between two programs, or just kind of, in between that, you're still a part of Facilis Group, which means you're networking, you're going to these major events, you're talking to top performers all the time. What are some of the biggest challenges that you're hearing from sales folks in general? And then if you don't mind, if you have the ability to kind of give us a glimpse of how you're teaching this, any strategies that you're talking about with those folks, whether it's the rookies or the vets, with the two programs that you have?
I think the normal things. How do I scale? What do I say? How do I find my way? All of those sorts of things are all really normal. And I think I hear them more often than I'd like to, which is part of the reason why I'm so passionate about my role and what I get to do. And one of the things that I'm really excited about being in this role is I do sort of feel like, if I can humbly say, a pioneer in the promotional product education space, right? There are probably a handful of us. And we all know each other and we all talk to each other and we all even work together and find ourselves in the same room because we all are so passionate about creating education in this industry. I think the thing that I hear the most is I don't know where to go when I want to learn how to level up. And that makes me so excited to be in the seat that I'm in.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, there's a number of things, just like I would say kind of the two things that are the hardest in that role or any sales role is, number one, getting the first meeting, right? And I think where in that industry, there could be a lot of fun ways to try and land that, show your creativity, show your aggressiveness and your interest in partnering with someone. I think that's a unique industry where, say, for example, the product could work for everyone. So you get to choose your clients. There's some products that you sell that flat out won't work for a small business, an enterprise-wide business, but the branded merchandise, everyone could use, a good partner in that. So I think the number one hardest thing is, one, getting the first meeting. And then the second hardest thing is getting them
what do I say?
Change, exactly right. What do I say? I got the first meeting. That person was nice enough to grab coffee with me. What do I say, knowing that they probably already have a partnership? What do I say to help them give me an opportunity? Is there anything that you're talking about now that's really moving the needle for either of those classes in terms of either getting the first meeting or what do I say?
Yeah, I think the very first thing that we do in both Electrify New User Course and 360 Established Sales Rep course is, in Electrify, we call it Find Your Striking Zone, right? And so it's really important as you come into this industry to find your market, find your niche, and sort of speak to that, because otherwise there is too much opportunity. And I know that sounds crazy in a sales position, but it really is true in this industry. If you don't find something to laser focus on, you're going to drown. And so we try to get them into a spot where they can metabolize the opportunity and move toward it without being overwhelmed. And then on the other side of that, when it comes to established reps, a lot of times they have a book of business that's been created over years. And there are clients in there that they really enjoy working with. And then there are clients there that are a pain in the what. And so it's giving them permission to put in black and white the types of customers that I want to work with and the types of customers that I bring the best value to, an ideal client profile. It's helping them sort of outline that. I'm saying the same thing, but I'm training it in different ways based on how it applies.
Yeah. It's always so interesting. And I know that that's the biggest struggle anytime that I would interact with other salespeople in that role, right? Where you can keep clients, you can keep just gathering a group of raving fans. But eventually you got to realize that maybe those people that you gathered along the way are not necessarily the people that you want on your ship. And I think that's the biggest thing that I struggle about. Like if I ever think, people always ask me like, would you want to get back into the industry? I was like, yeah, I would love to, but where do I start? Right. And then just like, you kind of feel like a jerk when someone says, hey, I just need 6 t-shirts. Hey, I just need 24 koozies. Right. I think there's a great way as a professional, you can just kindly say, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to, and this isn't a plug, right? But go to customink.com, right? Use this logo, go to this, AI tool, create your logo, ask these prompts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're smart enough, you build that little notes piece that you can copy and paste. And all you have to do is personalize the top part based on your relationship, right? But like for someone, it's all about how you treat people. Like if someone were to say, hey, Kevin, I got your information from Terri. She says amazing things about you. You're opening the first line of the email is like, oh my God, I love this. This is the best Wednesday ever. And then all of a sudden it's like, I need 8 coffee mugs, right? And then immediately you just got to be able to, one, I always say, be super responsive, get back to that person quickly, give them alternatives, right? And then when they say, well, can I do this through you? It's like, well, you can, but.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's the nicest part about the world that we live in is just radical transparency. People don't want to waste anybody's time. Right? I think that's fair. Like no one goes to the bank. It's like, I'm just going to ruin this teller's day.
Yeah.
But,
I think somebody explained it to me really well of like, at the end of the day, if you're taking an opportunity that doesn't fit you, you're stealing an opportunity that would have been a win for someone else. And think about that, right? At the end of the day, if selling 8 mugs to a customer that doesn't have any longevity and helping you accomplish your goals is going to steal your most valuable resource, which is your time. Think about the fact that those 8 mugs could have been an opportunity for a new sales rep at Custom Ink. That's their sort of thing. That's their job. That's their wheelhouse where they do really well. And it could have been their learning opportunity. And so rather than just accept it because you feel like you have to, because it's the nice thing to do, flip it on its side, do something nice for somebody else. Right?
I love that attitude. That's smart. And that's a great way of looking at it. And just real quick for the 13 people that are watching this podcast, I'm not a member at this beautiful Kinlock Golf Club. I played there once, shot the best round of my life, got my buddy to sign the flag. I just got to throw that out there because this is a weird flex that I'm doing. It's just the best lighting without any sound. Okay. So again, like this is a great example of a transition to professional best friend, right? So you're professional and you are literally just acting like you were just the best friend of the person at Custom Ink that you've never met before that's going to get their first order. How did you kind of come up to this? Like, I love this mantra of like professional best friend, as I say on the back via promotional branding podcasting, you're the professional best friend of branded merchandise. How did you come about that? How do you think that plays in this role now in your current role? And then like, how does that show up at home and with your friends now?
Well, if I'm being honest, professional best friend sort of started in what I call a quarter life crisis, where I think I mentioned a little hiatus. And one of the things that I realized about myself is that I am surrounded by best friends that I've truly collected my entire life, right? I'm still best friends with the people that I went to middle school with. And as I've gone through different journeys of my life and different phases of my life, I've collected all of these people that are really, really close to me. And everyone jokes all the time that Terri, has so many best friends. And I realized that I naturally apply that to all the things that I do in my professional life. When I was a top salesperson, my top 10 clients all felt like best friends. I would call them. I knew about their families. I went to their weddings. I held their babies. And it just, again, always happened natural for me. And I realized that while it absolutely is something that I love and adore, it's also a skill. And it's something that I used to be able to achieve the type of success that I wanted in my career. But it's also now on its head everything that I do all day long, because as I'm training these people, essentially all I'm doing is talking about my life, talking about what I was able to do, talking about what I've learned, and really passing the baton of knowledge. And for most people that are coming into a new role, right, a new industry, a new role, a new career, there's this level of just, I want to find my people, I want to find my clique, I want to find my confidence, I want to find how I can move in this space. And I think as humans, right, we all need a person to sort of lean on. And if I can be that person just by showing up and giving you confidence to start moving, then we all win. So let's do it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. It's so good. I have a joke. My buddy says that I introduce everyone as like, oh, this is my best friend. And my best man in my wedding speech, he goes, hey, my name's Will Anderson. I'm one of Kevin's 86 best friends. So I can't wait to meet all of his other 85. So I love that's your mantra. We are going to kind of transition towards the end here. What are the traits of good salespeople that are natural, right? Like someone comes into your room, whether it's the one training or the other, and you say, I know that this person's successful because of these traits. And then maybe what are the traits that you see in, say, for example, the new, training method that you see the spark in someone that they have, and you just need to be able to kind of put your Terri professional best friend touch on them and just get them from good to great. So kind of twofold question, natural traits and traits that are there, but you can coach to.
Okay. I have a layered answer to this, but first I want to make sure that we're on common ground, that we agree that there are very few like people in the promotional product industry. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, really good point. Yeah.
Okay. So I think that's my favorite part of this space is that there are so many personalities, there are so many traits, there are so many different types of characters that realize tremendous success in this space. And that plays into, I think, a lot of the things that make people successful. But the layer to my answer is first and foremost, North Star. Okay, so Dave Regg. If you don't know Dave Regg, he's a leader at Bacillus Group, and he's probably one of the most brilliant business minds of a human that you've ever met. And he says in my first sort of review, coming into this role, leaving a sales background, coming into a role that isn't affected by quota or commission or any of that sort of stuff, Terri, what's your North Star? And it was like that moment I became hyper fixated on that being the thing. And here's how it answers your trait question. So when a salesperson or a human in general has a North Star, they consciously move towards whatever that is. And so I think permission to be honest about what your North Star is first part of what makes people successful. And I say that it could be life-changing, right? It could be, I want to buy a house. It could be, I want to help my parents retire. It could be all of these sort of big things that naturally people think about when they think about a big sort of momentum marching them through life. But it also, for a lot of salespeople, could be surface level. And I think permission to have that is important, because I'll share, for me, being on the top 15 of the Bacillus Group community was all I wanted every month. And so I think that's important to talk about, because the moment that I got to 13 or 12 or 11 or 15, I was done. Let's go to the bar. Right? Right? I did it. Girl did it. Let's go. Like, yes. Right? But being honest about whatever that North Star is consciously makes you move toward it. I think in all of the ways that traits are important, like passion and grind and hustle and showing up and being able to listen and being able to learn and being able to put yourself in tough positions that you're uncomfortable in, they all happen when you're moving towards that consciously. But then the reason why I hyperfixate on it is because subconsciously, when something is your North Star, you gravitate towards it even when you're not trying. And I think that's the difference of what makes people really successful. when they want something.
Yeah, because again, like all those things you talked about, grind, hustle, grit, what, like, you know, strength during difficult times. No offense, like you can't really teach that, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like you can try, you could probably put a little 30-minute session on the board about it, right? But that's something that person has to bring, and they're doing it when they show up and sign up for your classes, right?
Yeah. And I always say I can inspire those behaviors in ways where you might see it and you might want that. And I can maybe create a little momentum if you come to our courses, and I can show you what could happen if you do these things. But to your point, if you have them, then you can use them. And if you don't, I can't help you.
That's awesome. I love this. This is fantastic. We're going to rip off. We're going to do our finale. Senior quote, okay? The last impression that you would love to leave. What is, like, whether it's words you live by or just some kind of inspirational message or just a quote you love. What is your senior quote?
I have two. Can I have two?
You can have 15. This is my favorite quote. I write them down. I think about them all the time. So it's
okay. I have two, and all of my best friends, both professional and personal, will love them. But the first and the most important is follow your heart. I literally live by that. I think it's the best way to live. And the second is say something nice.
Love that. Love that. It's easy. It's easy. Two easy ones, right? And it's
the best.
This is my favorite part. Obviously, if you've watched this by now, you know it's pre-recorded, but we're starting the day. This is the earliest we've ever done a podcast, and I'm super energized because it's just one of those things where you need this professional best friend, right? You don't necessarily need a training course. That's not a knock on what you're doing, right? You need something, whether it is a training course, a professional best friend, a podcast that you listen to, that's ideally just a friendly reminder, a nudge to keep going, right? To keep going towards your North Star. And then little bits along the way, right? Just like say something nice, right? Or follow your heart. Just super easy to just kind of remember, hey, just one row at a time. If I do these things, I'm going to get to the right destination, but I've got to keep the same stroke. Terri, I am so excited for you. I love seeing, you know, I think the last thing I'll say is that I know you're doing your job well. I see the smile. I see all these photos. You guys have a professional photographer at Facilis Group. And my favorite part of you, before I was kind of interviewing, kind of doing my research, is I see the smile on your face when these people come up to get like their certificate to completing the course. I see the smile on their face, right? Like I saw Javi's the other day, like that was like he had won, you know what I mean, the lottery, right? Like he's like, hey,
no, I won the
lottery.
I get to win the lottery. It is so sort of just humbling for me, the seat that I get to sit in every day. And so I would be remiss if I didn't share how grateful I am to have this role. I am having the absolute time of my life, and it's all because of that. It's so cool to see.
Yeah, the quote I always say is it was our mantra at Snag Job was to put people in the right fit positions to maximize their potential and lead more fulfilling lives. And I would say that you have found your role, girl. Well, congratulations. Thank you so much for sharing some of this wisdom and this knowledge. Hope you have the best day. And again, good luck with the next class, and keep grinding and keep doing you, girl. No one does it better.
Thank you. So good to see you.
All right.